What is going on, everyone? So today we're going to take a look at SFT stock, otherwise known as Shift Technologies. And this one seems to be under the radar, and a quick summary about Shift in case this is your first time seeing is in short is an e-commerce platform that allows you to buy and sell used cars with ease. And currently right now it seems like it's fairly low key and not many people are talking about it. And before I get into Shift, just remember this video is all for entertainment purposes only. This is not financial advice. Make sure to do your own research before making any investments. But currently the market is closed right now and it's currently hovering around $8.05. And there's some news coming up around tomorrow that I wanted to share with you, so I figured I'd make a video. And also I'll just talk about some history about Shift and show you guys what the actual company does. But I mean, we can see historically that past days it was hitting pretty much upwards of $12 plus, and then recently we saw it reach up to $10.80, and now currently it's at $8.05. Now, obviously, if you've been following the market the past week, it has been taking a huge dip, and it's been almost every company out there has been taking an L, a lot of red currently. So maybe the market decides to recover. We could see the price jump up, but this is more of a long-term play that I'm looking at this one, and I just want to share with you guys some history about it. So let's actually hop over to their investor presentation so you can learn more about Shift, and then you can figure out what your thoughts are about it. But right here we can see the team, and you can see the CEO since 2004, and basically we have George Arson, and pretty much he founded Shift, and you can see you got Google logo right here, Curve, BCG, and then we have additional team members, Capital One, Nike, Amazon, some big names on here. Now, if you want to go check out the team in more detail, feel free to go in there. But basically, here is a simple explanation of how essentially car ownership works, right? So research and discovery. So obviously you got to figure out which cars that you are looking into. Also for them, they have to do the research as well. Then obviously you have to test drive it, make sure you like it, it works. Once you do that, you either purchase it or you don't, and then you have ownership, and then you can go back and sell it, etc., rinse and repeat, right? Now, here was interesting. So essentially they have this 3-step full service. So basically you get this quote, and then you evaluate it at the customer's location, and then basically after that they do a full inspection, check out the car, make sure everything is working properly, and then pretty much you can buy it. And also you can do test drives at home, and they have more details regarding the at-home test drive, but I think that's pretty cool there. And then pretty much you'd go from there in the sales experience. And here you can see this. So essentially the test drive factor, right? So they deliver test drive and fulfillment directly to the consumers wherever they are. So this is their current radius they have in terms of example. And pretty much what this does is, one, it reduces fulfillment costs. It's cost efficient for the test drive logistics. And then also they can streamline their inventory. They improve their inventory mix, and they have a centralized Shift software, and then it's greater ease for the customers. Because if you were trying to get a car and you have to go to dealership, talk to some people, look around, test drive it, come back. I mean, if you've done that before, you just know it's not easy, especially if you live quite a ways away from the dealership. But here, they were to just drive straight to your house, and they're like, hey, here's your car that you want to check out. You go drive around your neighborhood. It's quick and easy. Go back to your house. It's simple, just like that. And then you can see down here. So this is the interesting part that you might want to look into, right? So at least right now, Shift, you can see in the little dotted green lines, their focus is for vehicles within the ranges of anywhere from 3 to 5 years, and then 6 to 10 years. And then you can see on the right side, in terms of the price points, it looks like they're targeting basically anywhere from less than 10 upwards of 20K in terms of what they're focusing on. And then you can see there's other dealerships that charge or look at cars that are above 20K. And then for the actual portion of the cars listing by age, you can see the competitors, and it's kind of hard to see, so let me zoom in. But if you've heard of Carvana, you've seen the commercials where they're giant vending machines full of cars, then you might have known about them. There's CarMax as well, and there's also Vroom. And you can see that the Vroom, CarMax seems to be, and also Carvana target more of the, I'd say, recent years in terms of the age, so 1 to 3. Shift's looking at more of the older, I'd say, car age, so pretty much 4 years and plus. And then you can see the price segments here. So you can see the different shifts in the green color, and basically you can see 10 to 20K is their majority percentage, and then the rest simply slows down. But you can see how Vroom is a different price point there. And actually Vroom released some news the past week, I believe, with their earnings. And I can talk more about Vroom in a second, but Looking here, so this is one of the unique things about Shift is a lot of people actually like Shift better than majority of the other companies, right? So at least right now, Carvana is currently the number one based off of this chart in terms of customer satisfaction. Shift is the second place, and then Vroom, and then after that, the other companies down there. So obviously, Carvana is the current big player. They are dominating the space right now for used cars buying and selling. We're also competitors such as Vroom, and then we also have Shift. Now, the difference is, and I'll show you the reason why I think Shift is more of a long-term thing. That's just my own opinion. It's just comparing the evaluation of Shift. So all this stuff right here is pretty cool if you never heard of Shift. But in terms of like investing standpoint, I'll show you guys some stuff in just a second. But right here, they state the actual market. So right here, 2019, U.S. used vehicle market, $840+ billion, right? And here's just showing you like how customers actually go about purchasing cars, right? So if you ever purchase something, I would say expensive, it doesn't have to be necessarily a car, you're most likely going to do a bunch of research online. And if you actually purchased cars before, then you obviously know you can't just show up and buy a car like in one day, right? Unless you're balling out and you just don't care. But for most people, they do a ton of research. You know, they look at other people, give some opinions, all of that fun stuff. And basically seeing how the current market is, right? At least for me and the current time I'm filming this video, it seems like a lot of people go in person. You know, they talk to salesmen, and that's basically it, right? But since quarantine hit, I mean, you see the companies that made the most money. Amazon destroyed the market, made so much money. Jeff Bezos, he's making millions on millions on millions of dollars, right? And it's because he's e-commerce, he's online. And you can talk about here, they talk about how essentially auto retail right now for selling cars, right? It's very, very minimum right now. Carvana is definitely making some waves. They are the top player. But Shift is one of those companies that's looking to tap into it and eventually get into essentially the e-commerce platform, the e-commerce wave where people can buy and sell cars. Because it's going to eventually get to the point where you don't even show up in person to buy a car, right? So, I mean, still people, some, depending on where you live, like using Carvana, other used car software platforms like that, you've probably done it. But for most people, at least right now, and it seems like the current U.S. market is just not there yet, right? So if they can just tap into that, and maybe a decade from now, it could be like that. Because if you've seen Teslas, right? Have you ever been to like a Tesla's showroom in like the mall or something? It's literally like one or two cars in this building, little box, and then they just have salesmen just talk about the car. You get in it, but it's not like, you know, a typical car dealership where there's like hundreds of cars and you can see all of them, right? So Tesla's kind of doing something to where you can kind of see the product in person, and then you would order it. But in terms of like the used car space right now, it seems like it's, I'd say, fairly untapped. And then we can continue here and just showcase like, you know, how it works. You can see the app, you go through it, you check out the inspections, test drive it at home, all this other details, and then basically you purchase it, right? And then pretty much they just show some more cases in terms of like how things work. And you can see here additional stuff regarding the actual application. Now that's mainly the presentation. Now here's the reason why I want to make this video, because you can see here, and if you're watching this like as I just posted, then you would know that this is before this date. But obviously in the future, this is going to be past already. But essentially, they're going to be reporting their financials on March 8th of 2020. Now, this usually goes two ways, right? Usually people like to get into a company. They know that we're going to report earnings, aka it's buying the rumor, sell the news. And then once they report the earnings, they just sell off, and basically the price just tanks, right? So I believe that happened for Vroom. We have to double check, but usually that's common. Regardless if they make more money or not, it seems it's two different ways, right? They crushed it, the price could potentially skyrocket up, or even if they made a little bit more than what they were expecting, the price could sell off regardless, because people might have just wanted to get in during the hype. But in general, if they end up reporting good revenues, that's going to be more bullish long term for Shift, because that shows that they're actually growing, they're getting better, and they're still in a technically untapped market. So, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, whether the price could sell off, but looking at the current charts, right, like the bottom isn't that far, right? I mean, we could see like the $6 mark, and let's just go fully out. Like, let's just go all the way out like here, right? So if you were to go to the very bottom, like 660, let's say even lower depending on when you look at the charts. And I would say like that's the bottom. We're currently at 8. So it's like worst case, let's say it goes to like $5 maybe. That's assuming that they just did horrible on their revenues, right? It could go lower, it could go super low, and Shift ends up closing out. Who knows what happens, right? Again, it's unpredictable. But just like realistically, it seems like the bottom for Shift isn't that far down, right? Compared to some other companies, like looking at like Tesla, if the bottom were to go, you would lose literally almost your entire portfolio at that point. But it seems like the worst case scenario for this isn't too bad compared to some other companies out there. But again, that's just all my opinion, guys. That's not financial advice. But that is one thing I wanted to share with you about that. And then the other thing too, this is just their website showing you what it looks like. Pretty much you can shop cars, everything. Go to shift.com if you want to check it out and see more details. But yeah, that's like a quick summary on there. Now, if we were to compare this, here's Carvana. Now, if you don't know Carvana, basically, if you ever seen the commercials with those giant car vending machines, if you have, then that's technically Carvana. And they are doing really well. They are currently market caps at 45 bill. So they're ginormous right now. And in terms of their revenues, they're doing a lot of money in revenue. You can see here, 2019, they did basically 4 bill plus, or close to 4 bill in revenue. And if you were to compare this like Shift stock into the market cap, let me just show you really quick. So here's SFT, and basically you can see the market cap is 657 mil. It's not even 1 bill yet. So obviously Carvana is at the top, and it's almost, let's see, let's just round this up to 1 bill. It would be a 45x more market cap comparing this to Carvana. And then there's another company called Vroom. And then here's Vroom, and it's evaluated at a $4.34 billion market cap, right? And they had better reviews than Vroom according to the customer satisfaction. Now, here's an interesting article, right? So this was actually posted back in October of 2020. Let me see, October 20 of 2020. And they say pick Shift over Carvana and Vroom. So this was way back. This was before, you know, the whole GameStop AMC madness and everybody's getting in the stock market and all that. And I would recommend you read this article just to learn more about Shift in case like you have no idea what they are. And it goes in, shows you some of their like, you know, investor presentation like I showed in the beginning of this video. But basically they show here again like the e-commerce, how big can it be and all that. But what I want to show you is this stuff right here. So the Vroom and Carvana problem. So right now it talks about how there's mainly 2 players, Vroom and Carvana, and they've already completed the IPO. And basically they say like what's the difference versus the Shift since it's a smaller player. So right now they say Carvana doesn't have the best management. So its CEO basically has someone convicted of bank fraud. So that's already a, I'd say, thing to keep your eye out. In addition, they have a complex ownership for Carvana, which their ownership structure that confers substantial power to top managements. And basically these factors still make us very wary of Carvana, even after its recent rise to the 200 plus price per share, right? And also Vroom has terrible customer reviews, right? So I've seen other articles, again, you can look into this, about how people feel about Vroom. I'm not going to share it for this video, but basically just note that apparently on the number of reviews Shift has compared to Vroom, Shift has a much better customer satisfaction. So keep that amount too. And then also they're complaining about misleading practices and poor customer service regarding Vroom. And they also state Vroom has still a substantial amount of revenue coming from its traditional dealer business. Now they have a showing of a Shift. So I'll just read this quick source. And essentially, this points against Carvana and Vroom are positive for Shift. So example, while Carvana has shady management, Shift has top auto companies backing it. So, I mean, you can't really see this diagram, but I'll just read it out. Lithua Motors, aka LED, is a major backer, owning 17% of the company. And then basically with over 180 dealership locations and a 7 bill market cap, LED is a large player in the auto retail space. And the fact that it has chosen to partner with Shift and not Carvana or Vroom gives substantial credibility to Shift. And so far, Shift and LED have already announced several partnerships, and they expect more to arrive in the future. So just, and again, this is back from the investor presentation, but that's basically like a quick rundown on Shift and just some fun facts about it. So again, looking at the price right now, it's about $8. The price could continue to dip. I mean, we could see 6 plus or even below 6, assuming if the market continues to go red and just continues to tank. We don't know yet. But I think long term, if Shift can perform, they increase the amount of users they have, they increase their revenue, they start expanding, then we could see some big numbers in the next few years. But again, this is one of those slower, I'd say, growing stocks. This isn't some like quick GameStop AMC thing that I think. Could it do it? Who knows, right? You never know what's going to happen, Wall Street bets and all that stuff. But at least looking at the company in general, if they can do well and perform, I think it has some good potential for Shift. But again, that's my all opinion. Shift could crumble back down and go to 0. Who knows, right? We'll have to wait and see. But aside from that, if you made it this far in the video and you want to get 2 free stocks valued up to $1,850, then go ahead and click the first link in the description below. Sign up for an account, and as long as you deposit $100 minimum or more, you'll be able to receive 2 free stocks that are valued up to potentially $1,850. And aside from that, if you're new to the channel, you want to learn more about upcoming companies, reviews, market, stocks, etc., hit that subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up, comment down below your thoughts about Shift, and I'll see you in the next one.